we can't get to the next tech earnings season before we get out of this one, and we still have to consider NVIDIA a week from today. How do you see that?
I mean, it's huge, obviously. It's the most important stock in the world right now. So, you know, if they laid an egg, it would be a major problem for the whole market. I don't think they will. I think they're going to surprise to the upside. If you look ahead at sort of what Wall Street is counting on a go-forward basis, it's almost like this explosion of AI revenue that they've seen over the last year and a half, you know, is going to just sort of dry up. And I just don't think that's the case. Eric Schmidt gave a talk at Stanford recently. It was sort of leaked a few days ago, and they took it down off of YouTube because he made some critical comments about the work culture of Google. But embedded within that talk, one of his throwaway lines was, you know, in talking to Sam Altman, they said that together they both believe that each of the hyperscalers, plus the OpenAIs of the world, we're probably going to have to spend something like $300 billion in NVIDIA chips over the next few years, each. 300 billion each. So, you know, NVIDIA could basically only supply those hyperscalers, and their order book is going to be full for the next 4 years. It's a massive, staggering amount of money that's sitting in front of them. And, you know, God love the Broadcoms and the, you know, the AMDs of the world, but, you know, the vast majority, like more than 95% of that revenue is going to go to NVIDIA.
Here we have the daily price chart for NVIDIA Corporation, stock ticker NVDA. So as we can see in this video, this investor clearly has a positive viewpoint of NVIDIA and for the company's expected performance during the most recent quarter. As we can see here, he does believe that NVIDIA will be beating earnings. The only question that I have at this point is that you know, whether or not there are enough issues with the quarterly earnings report, you know, enough places for the company to make a mistake or to miss expectations. I just think that there are a large number of areas, you know, where a disappointment could be resting, and for these reasons, I do believe the path of least resistance to be to the downside at this point. Here we have the daily price chart, so we can see here that if this investor is correct, and we did start to see share prices move higher. You know, the current outlook here and the current share price action is actually moving in the positive direction. So it does look as though the market is not excessively worried at the moment. This earnings release does come out on Wednesday, so we'll see if this trend movement here, this positive trend movement, continues into those numbers, or whether investors are going to start to become more interested in taking risk off the table. If you find this information interesting, I want to remind everybody to please leave a like and subscribe using the buttons below the video so that other investors and traders are able to find this information more easily. This does help with the algorithm so that other traders are able to find this information. Currently, what we're looking at here, if we did see an upside surprise in NVIDIA's earnings report, we could see prices retest the July 11 high, which came in at 136.15. And this does rest relatively close to current price levels. So I don't think that this level would be overly difficult to achieve if this investor is correct, if this tech investor is correct, and NVIDIA is actually able to surpass market expectations on Wednesday.
Well, I mean, how do you just talked about, I mean, obviously the money that NVIDIA makes is the money that the hyperscalers are spending. So at what point do you look at what the hyperscalers are spending and say, you know what? It might be a little longer for the ROI or the return on invested capital side of the story than I think we're willing to admit. How should we look at that?
Well, I think that the Meta is showing now that they are making a lot of money from this, and that's why their stock is mid 500s right now. So they, I'm starting to think that Zuckerberg was sort of leading us on several years ago when he was saying that he was spending all this money on Reality Labs, and people panicked and sold the stock down to $80. I kind of think he was trying to throw off his competitors by just spending all this money on NVIDIA GPUs so he could get a head start of them. So he's showing the way. Now, if you're sitting in the seat of Andy Jassy, or Microsoft or OpenAI, are you going to let another one of these competitors just take the lead and become the dominant player in AI going forward? I just don't think you can do that. And you're only spending a minority in some cases, or just certainly less than your annual free cash flow that these companies are generating. So you're not going to spend that money just like leaving it on the balance sheet, and you're not going to spend it on M&A because Lena Khan's not going to have anything to do with that. So I think it was Eric Schmidt in that same talk that said, a lot of these people look at the investment in AI as like, what's the return on investment on intelligence? Like, they see it as, a lot of them, infinite. I mean, there are going to be some shocking applications that are going to come out over these next few years. I've seen some already that just make the hair stand on the back of my neck, Scott. So I know everybody's impatient to see the applications, but they are here in some cases, and they will be coming shortly. We're still less than 2 years away from ChatGPT's debut.
So if this tech investor is correct, and we do see a massive earnings beat from NVIDIA on Wednesday, the stock wouldn't have much trouble, like most likely having trouble overcoming its prior all-time highs, which came in at 140.76. Of course, this is the price high that was posted during the June 20 trading session. And then in addition to that, if we take a look at the indicator reading currently, for the most part, we're seeing negative momentum here. But if we look closely at the indicator, there is a suggestion here that share prices could start to break this downtrend momentum here. Essentially, if we see this trend line break in the relative strength index, that would be the purple line at the bottom of the price chart. If we do see share prices break above this trend line, this ultimately would suggest that NVIDIA is no longer being governed by the negative downside momentum that has been in place since that 140.76 high posted. In addition to that, this would also confirm this upside break in the relative strength index, where we saw the RSI break above its own exponential moving average. And then additionally, we also have the fact that the RSI has the potential to extend here to the top side for quite a while before becoming overbought. Essentially, right now we're trading at roughly 60.7. So we could travel all the way to the 70 level before the share prices themselves started to become overbought. So this does mean that there's a fair amount of distance here that could be seen before the share price movement to the top side would be considered to be excessive. And we only have about $10 more before the stock would be trading into new record territory. So there are a lot of factors at work here, and there are some very specific price levels that should be watched by investors. So here are the factors that are currently governing NVIDIA share prices, and here are the current price levels that I will be watching. This is the current market outlook for NVIDIA Corporation, stock ticker NVDA. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership, and start trading stocks with the pros.